live now. Okay, it's live. See how you're kind of off a little bit? So, a little bit over that. I don't know which way you have to go. Way? Well, you see. So I'll tell you if you're doing it the right way. Look for me. But we have to go live now. Okay, so what we have to do is during lunch, I'm going to have to take this out because we won't have any audio otherwise, right?
All right. Guys, we're back at it for another wonderful, splendid week, aren't we?
Okay, he's going to start in a few minutes. So now you and I aren't connected right now.
Okay.
We probably won't be.
Oh, okay.
So that's why we have a camera. That's why we have a camera on the screen.
On the screen.
But you won't see us.
Okay.
So we're lucky if we're going to get audio here.
Oh, boy.
I think you can relax today.
You're on.
Yeah.
So should I put my camera on this? I don't know if I'm going to charge.
You don't have any charge?
Yeah, I probably got enough for it. Use mine.
Yeah, you want to connect it now while we got a minute?
Bill?
How are you? First, go to your YouTube and see if this is live right now. How you doing, Phil?
Any idea what the whole Switcher Studio setup cost?
$5,000.
Thank you.
It says we're live, but I don't know if that means anything.
What is it? This one?
Yeah. So we're live? Yep. Good. All right, now go ahead and go back to your switcher, and we'll get you on the camera.
So pretty simple.
Okay.
Running something all over.
Did you ever load it?
Yeah, I thought I did.
Intro video.
Intro video, and
Okay.
then
Is the CFS on thing or not?
yes.
Come over here because you're going to run. I'll get it going until lunch, and then you can have it after lunch, okay? I'll run it until lunch, and then you can run it after that because I have to do some switching.
So it says new version.
You remember the password?
No, that's okay. Log in.
Yeah, you remember the password?
So running
No.
slides.
Hey.
Oh, right here.
He sent it out. Okay.
Running
Thank
slides.
you.
So I use this Rotary login?
No, use the one that says for switcher. This one.
Okay, Bob.
Okay. Cool.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and put the sound on and stop charging. Yeah. All right, we got sound.
What, 2020, 2019? What was your 100th year? 2020?
Yeah, in general.
This year, 2021.
2021.
Yeah.
I have young kids.
Two years after we opened.
Exactly. And I've already given, because you know whose anniversary is next year? El Charro.
What anniversary?
It's their 100th.
Whose 100th?
El Charro.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay, I guess I should start. How you going here? Hey, that wake you up? Fellow Rotarians and guests, whether you're joining us virtually or you're actually here in person, welcome to downtown. Did everybody notice when you came in the ice rink that's being built out front? So if the parking was a little tight today, I apologize. I had to go up a couple of decks. But anyway, that's going to open on Saturday, and it's going to run all the way through January 9th, and that's a joint venture between Rio Nuevo and the city of Tucson and our buddies that run the TCC. So we're going to start off with the pledge and song. Melissa Ryder's going to come up and talk to us. She joined in October of this year. Her classification is religion, Protestant. She is with the Catalina United Church. She's a graduate of U of A and the Claremont School of Theology. And she will, after the pledge, be leading us in the Star Spangled Banner. Melissa.
Will you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As a pastor, I pay people to lead music. Chris, I can't pay you, but I'm going to let you lead the music, the Star Spangled Banner.
Well done. With our inspiration, Ann Marsh, who joined us in February of last year, classification, retired education. She's a graduate of the University of Americas. Ann. Where'd you go?
I sneak in behind him, yes. 2 weeks ago, we were honored, and it was such a pleasure to have Crystal Stark as our program. And she is such an amazing young woman that I wanted to do a little bit more snooping around about her. So I got in touch with her mom via Chris Dodge. And when Crystal was small, she became a little sister in Big Brothers and Big Sisters when she was 8 years old. And 2 years later, she was assigned a big sister by the name of Michelle Carnes, with whom she has worked tirelessly for years now with fundraising for Big Brothers and Big Sisters. In her teens, she was singing, and her singing was even auctioned off to make money for the latest fundraiser. So Michelle, her big sister, is now on the board of directors, and Crystal still works with her on events to raise money and to advertise. So big and big sisters and brothers and all those people are part of her and her mom's lives and have been for the past 30 years. She also mentors different young people who need a boost in life. And she's an extraordinary teacher and undertakes every task, her mom says, this sounds very mom, with passion and fervor. But I think we can imagine that from what we heard. And she does go on to what is beyond what is expected. And I just thought it was such a pleasure to hear her. She is a talented, beautiful, giving, inspirational young woman.
And thank you. Please enjoy your lunch. By the way, Chris, aren't we up to about $2,000 with the raffle?
Yeah, somewhere between 2,000 and 20, but
Yeah.
probably closer to 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
if you haven't bought your tickets, and by the way, I bought the same one he sold me every single time, and I don't think they work. But
No.
So maybe you'll have more luck than me. But if you haven't bought a ticket, please buy a ticket. And are we going to get Crystal Stark to ever join our club?
I could ask.
I wish you would. She'd be
I'll do
amazing.
that. All right, I'll do that. And thank you. I'm over here if you guys want to get some tickets for the next few minutes. Come
Enjoy
on
your
by.
lunch.
Charging is back on, but there's so much going on here. It's not this is not a high speed charger. It's not one of those 5, and yeah.
Well, it'll at least, hopefully, while we eat, we'll buy maybe enough juice.
Yeah, that might be, but we need a
C to
C to a C, C to a C,
Uh,
and I don't see a C to C here.
yeah.
I don't. Wait a minute. Okay, here's the C to C. I think this is a better charger.
Is this what we need?
No, we got plenty of those. Okay, this is a better charger.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens. We were down to 2%. So,
You're using the C on here for the audio. Is
yeah.
that correct?
Yeah, so, and it doesn't charge anyway.
Oh, right.
It's just it doesn't charge anyway. So, still, none of the passwords are working, huh? Okay, so let me go out to my car. I may have a charger that we can plug in directly. But see, Bob's got the charge. Bob forgot to tell you everything. Let's just leave it at that.
He was quite distracted last week talking to a bunch of people trying to do 3 things at once.
Trying to be a Rotarian. All right, let me go out to the car and see what
All right. I'm really sorry. I feel
None of
terrible.
these passwords are working for Switcher, so you might want to take your phone and call Bob and see if you can get him on the phone. Recognize her. Yes. Yep. Yeah.
Did you have to know Bob's cell phone? Oh, sorry, Chris.
I don't know what I'm doing now. Whatever I'm doing is not working.
Let's get into
Come on. Four has to be about 5 to 0 now. Don't worry, have fun. Help people.
right before his retreat. There,
I don't know. Should I put the running slideshow?
because the sponsors pay to have their, so you know, their little thingy up there. Yeah.
Well, then I'll go back to the sponsors. How about that?
That'd be great, right there. Hold on, it's Jenny. Thank you.
Chris is trying to set his phone. So I was wondering if maybe you, when you get this, if you could just text it to us, that would be great. Phone number is
No, it's not the end of the world because I can just take this camera over here and
Okay.
put it on there. That's overall.
That's what I was thinking.
So where's the other cameras? One there.
One there, there's one focused on that screen over there, right next to the projector, and there's that one.
What's on the screen?
That's what Tom wanted. I had the, what is it? What's for lunch? It was supposed to be no horseradish. And that should be the same one that he sent out to us. So Switcher Studio, did you try this? Tucson Rotary #1.
Yeah.
#1 and then pound. I think the pound is missing.
This is number 2, so there should be a pound there.
Yeah, it should be a pound sign.
So we still don't know what the password is.
I think we got to figure it out. We looked it up.
What is it missing? Did you get in? Okay. All right, let's see what we got. We're up to 5%. So what we're going to have to do is run with area sound, right? Which means I don't know how we turn. I know how we turn it on, but I'm not sure if how it comes through. I think you push this button, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Okay, you should be able to share this camera. Here.
What?
There should be a pound after the 1. Give it a minute.
So do you have yours or mine? Yours? Okay. Do you have to put the URL in that one?
This is waiting to connect.
No, just go ahead and turn it back off and turn it back on again. There it is up there. Okay, share this device. Share this camera.
The URL is loud.
There you go. You're up. You're live.
All right.
And you're put the camera the way you're going to put it in the thing, and then we'll see if you got it upside down or not. This is how you want to do it. We're up. So the worst case scenario is, Jen, that we won't have audio.
Okay.
Because we can't charge. You can't charge and run the audio at the same time. And we're at 6%. So we started at 6%. What's the program today?
Richard Osteran, Hotel Congress.
Hotel Congress. Yeah, that's a good one to record. We'll record it. We might have area. See, this one here activates this microphone. So you're going to pick up some. We'll just have to make sure we're quiet.
Mm-hmm. We don't talk.
Well, I'd rather save any power we have for the video, but it sucks up a lot of video really fast. I mean, a lot of power really fast. So, we'll switch over.
Sure. You just
So
let me know when
your lunch and fellowship, okay, and then over here, and then from here, here's your program. Okay, you know how to do that.
Oh, this has the pound on it. Can I take one of these sheets, or is this?
One of the sheets was wrong.
Well, they didn't have a pound.
Did Bob tell you, or did you get hold of Bob, or no?
No, I looked at my email.
Okay.
And then I left him a message, and then I sent him a text to tell him, no worries, it's good, we got it.
Okay. Good. Broccoli. I love broccoli.
Oh, true.
How many? Do you remember how many tickets we had in the packet? Was it 50 or 60? 50.
What are we talking about, the car show?
Yeah. I think it was 50. Okay.
What's the word on check?
Nothing. Nothing new for over 10 days now. So I think that's not good, quite frankly. No. Well, last time we talked, he wasn't. They induced a coma because his brain was bleeding. So his brain was swelling.
Oh my goodness. Who was that?
Huckleberry.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he had a car hit him.
Yeah, he was riding a bike, right?
Which tells you those helmets aren't worth shit.
Well,
They're styrofoam. Probably the helmet saved his life. But he didn't avoid. He must have hit hard. Or the car hit his head, one or the other. I don't
the
know.
car just pushing you over. I think that's kind of.
It hit him? Or hit the bike?
Yeah, I hit the bike and pushed him over.
But he broke ribs. And it's amazing how much damage you can do falling less than 6 feet.
You become less resilient the older you get, too.
Yeah, and Chuck's in pretty good shape. He works out pretty much every day. Got good stamina. But he's 71. You know? Let's clean up this mess a little bit. So, we're not even using this. We're not going to do sound at all, I think.
Okay.
Because you're only at 8%. And the charger I had is at work. I remember taking it out right before I went to work because I didn't want it in the car.
Damn it.
It's a charger. I mean, it's a real charger.
Well, Tom, I'm sorry. I apologize. I did not know. I didn't even think to charge it that it would need it.
Yeah, with Apple stuff, you got to charge every night.
One like a
So
roll.
is this camera going that way? Yeah, that's this camera. Okay. Oh. So how much noise do we got? Let's see.
In addition to operating the Hotel Congress, Richard opened Maynard's Market and Kitchen in the historic train depot in 2008, and he's a partner in Sonoran Vineyards in Cochise County. Let's have a historic Rotary welcome for Richard Osere.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to talk to you about the Hotel Congress. It's my passion, but I would like to congratulate you, this chapter, on 100 years. And thankfully, you've come back downtown. I've been informed permanently, we hope. And I want to also congratulate Mark on being the 100th president of the Rotary Club, this chapter, and for all the service you do to this community and to the region and beyond. Thank you very much. The slide that's before you, and we're going to do kind of a pictorial trip, 102 years, try to do it in about 15 or 16 minutes. Some of those dates will slip by, others will take a little more time. This is Congress Street in 1920. The population of the city at that time was about 20,000 souls. And the building, of course, on the left is the three-story Hotel Congress, and on the right is the Rialto building. Both of these buildings were designed by William and Alexander Curlett of Los Angeles. And the Rialto followed the Hotel Congress by 1 year. The building was built for John Latz, and and it was financed by some prominent Tucson businessmen. You would recognize the names, Monty Mansfield, Moise Drachman, Leo Goldschmidt, Judge Sawtell. They made their mark on the community, and they were building. Tucson was brand new. The railroad had come into town, and the Hotel Congress was built to accommodate travelers that were coming in off the railroad, new residents to Tucson, tourists, and people coming through. This picture is taken from the historic depot, the historic train depot, which is across the street, and which was built in 1907, remodeled in 1941. And the historic depot, Hotel Congress from Rialto, constituted the east end of downtown, and still do. The Congress, you will notice, was 3 stories, and also it had a street in front of it which ran into Toole Avenue, and that was 10th Street. And we'll talk a little bit about 10th Street as we go forward. This is a picture of the Hotel Congress from the 5th Avenue and Congress Street. The bottom floor was there was a bank, there were shops, offices. I was telling Mark a minute ago, I had a wonderful letter from a woman when we bought the hotel who had stayed there in 1924 when her husband, after 3 years in the hospital and having fought in 5 battles in the First World War, came back to Tucson to go to the U of A. She told me that I may not earn gold coins, but I would earn worthy coins if I kept the Congress as it once was. She also told me she worked briefly at the bank, but because she was a woman and there were rough people coming off the train from time to time, she lost her opportunity to work there. This is the lobby as it looked in the Congress was built actually in 1918, opened in November, but 1919 is the date that we use as an opening. We have some of the furniture still is being used in the Hotel Congress, and some of the light fixtures have been repurposed. The front desk next to an elevator was actually on the opposite side of the lobby it is currently, and the tile floor, if you come down and visit us, you will be walking on that very floor. The restaurant was what one would characterize as fine dining. I don't know if you can see it in the picture, but each place setting had 6 pieces of silver. The servers were all in costume, and for dinner, this is a Thanksgiving menu and a Christmas menu. The Thanksgiving menu You could have braised Watertown goose, stuffed duck, filet mignon, oysters pate, and it goes on and on. It was expensive. That meal would cost you $1.25. Notice the graphics, the beautiful graphics also. And of course, that price went up dramatically by Christmas. It was $1.50, but that also provided a private orchestra for the guests. The Depression hit the Hotel Congress hard. John Latz lost the hotel in the Depression. As it happened, I bought my first home in 1976 at 2050 East 4th Street. One of your members lives there now. And the two doors down, Lena Latz, his wife, who had come over from Germany and would tell us many stories about the Congress before we ever knew we were going to get involved in it, told me that when he lost the hotel, he went into his bed and never came out. She also told me how on Christmas under the tree in the lobby there would be a gift for every room. There were 80 rooms in those days before the third floor burned. And she told me that they would also pack picnic lunches for the guests to eat a two-back on their way for day trips to Nogales. The tap room was the beginning of what looked like brighter times for downtown and certainly for the Hotel Congress. Prohibition was repealed in 1933, and the tap room was the first bar to open in Tucson. This is a more of a current picture. We didn't have an older picture, but you can see paintings around the tap room, and those paintings were by Pete Martinez. He's a famous cowboy artist and painted in the 30s through the 50s, and those paintings are still there. Originally, the ceiling had dropped. There are murals going all the way to which then was a ceiling of about 15 or 16 feet. They've been largely destroyed, but people are still trying to get me to remove the ceiling and reveal those murals. These are paintings that are in the hotel right now by Pete Martinez. Catastrophe struck on January 24th, 1934, when allegedly a fire started in the boiler in the basement and went up through and took off the third floor of the hotel. As a result of that fire, some Tucson history was made. The famous public enemy number one, famous bank robber John Dillinger, and his gang were laying low in Tucson after a string of robberies in the Midwest. And a couple of the gang members were staying at the hotel, which led to his capture. And we'll talk a little bit about Dillinger Days, and you're all invited to attend on that annual event, January 24th of each year, except for last year. It was the first year in 27 years that it did not take place. The hotel was rebuilt by architect Roy Place, was the architect, to a two-story hotel. Roy Place also built the Pima County Courthouse, and I will be at the Pima County Courthouse at 4:30 in the afternoon today. It's being dedicated, and courtroom division number 5 is the only courtroom that was restored, completely restored, and that is going to be dedicated. And Barbara Atwood, some of you may know, who wrote a book on the judge. She was in that courtroom, Mary Ann Ritchie, a wonderful, wonderful judge, and she has invited me to appear as I was trying the last case to be tried at the old Pima County Courthouse, because it was a very lengthy trial that went on for weeks and weeks, and the courts all moved into the new court building, except they couldn't move that courtroom because the trial was going on. The Hotel Congress remained the center of the community. This is a rodeo parade going by the two-story hotel, past the train depot, and the good times, or sort of downtown. When I first came downtown to go to college, you wanted a haircut or a pair of shoes, you came downtown. In the 60s, things started changing. The interstate highways were being built. Train travel was not what it used to be. Motels were going up on the highways. There was flight to the suburbs. The El Conquistador was coming down, and Elcon Mall was one of the first malls to open. And there's still Steinfeld's, Agaves, and some of the stores still made it. Levy's were still downtown for a while, but ultimately they all failed. By the 1970s, there was not much commercial activity going on downtown. Congress was pretty much a dead zone. And in the 70s also, we had urban renewal, which everybody thought was a good idea, and it was. There's a lot of good ideas today dealing with post-COVID and what's going on in the country. Urban renewal was going to bring things back, and part of urban renewal was the destruction of 29 blocks of the urban fabric of this community, including barrios, and we are standing on the very ground that those barrios once stood. We lost a tremendous amount of our history. We've got a wonderful facility, but hopefully we can be more thoughtful with what we have left which makes us and distinguishes us from any other community. In the 1980s, things were sort of starting to happen. The creative class was moving downtown, young artists, musicians, and people were moving in because they appreciated the history of the community, and it was also rents were cheap, and they were moving into the barrios. KXCI, the community radio station, opened up in the 1980s with a music format, and it opened up on Congress Street. And also the Tucson Weekly was founded in the early 1980s. And when we bought the Hotel Congress in 1985, this was the front page and calling it a preservation victory. And it was. This is the fire that lit the match, Club Congress. It is still there. It's actually the oldest alternative music venue still operating west of the Mississippi. Many of you may have been there, or certainly your children, or they will be going there. And these are kind of the events that were taking place. The Tucson Citizen ran the Counter Club is widely successful, and this was in 1985. Of course, the Citizen is no longer with us. Fortunately, the Club Congress is. There was a counter in there, and before it was identified as Club Congress at about the same time. They called it the Counter Club because it was a different kind of counterculture, and because it had been a cafe. It had become a cafe. This is a current street scene of the Club Congress, and this is the proscenium that's in the club. This was designed by Daniel Martin Diaz, and it's sculpted metal and backlit, and the club's been pretty quiet post-COVID, although we have opened it up again with requirements of masking and vaccinations, but we also have other venues in the hotel, which we're going to talk about. This is 5 years ago, KXCI moved back onto Congress Street, and they're our only tenant. They broadcast live off the lobby, and this is the old Congress Street door into the KXCI studio. The Cup Cafe is a beloved cafe. It was also opened in the later 80s. This is a picture of the outside and a picture of the inside. In September, we had the honor by Open Table naming it one of 100 gems in America. So it was named one of 100 indoor-outdoor dining facilities in the country, and we're very proud of that. This is Larry Boyce. He showed up also in the 80s on a bicycle. He had ridden his bicycle down from San Francisco. As it turned out, I was called by the manager and said, somebody wants to paint the ceiling. I said, we just had it painted. And she said, I think you better come down and take a look at this. He had done Vice President Bush's offices in Washington. He had done murals around the country. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us, and this was a project that took many years. He would come down every spring on his bicycle, set up scaffolding, and paint. These are his motifs in the lobby today. My wife and I, and this was a Joe Patrick mural. This is on the cactus garden in the second floor. The picture that was placed in here by my aide who was sick and couldn't attend today is of me and my wife, and we're drinking martinis, so we're really welcoming you to come down and have a martini with us anytime. My wife Shayna, everybody knows, is truly the driving force of everything, and everything that we've accomplished, we've really accomplished through her, including a project that's ongoing now. In fact, she has a name for me. It's Mr. No. Dillinger Days. This is a reenactment, not really a reenactment of what actually happened, but a really fun event. And this is John Minks, who was an actor and stunt person who first played Dillinger 27 years ago and continues to come down every year with his group. And they shoot him up, and I remember sitting in the cafe one day with Gabby Gifford's father, Spencer, when he was still with us, and one of the bandits, the gangsters came in and yelled, "This is a holdup!" And Spencer, without waiting a second, said, "As long as it doesn't hold up my dessert." So, this is another festival. This is the Agave Heritage Festival. The whole idea of these festivals is nobody would come downtown. And when we were trying to get people downtown, every letter you read in the paper to the editor was, why would anybody ever go downtown Tucson? And our feeling was, you can't have a great city without a great downtown. Downtown is our heritage, it's where we began, it's our history. And we've really been working for the last 36 years and we've really turned the corner. Thanks very much to Mark and his work on with the Renewal and the board, and their efforts have really helped revitalize downtown core, and we truly appreciate that. So the Agave Heritage Festival is one of our annual festivals, and it was a tequila mixing contest. And then we kind of hooked up with the Mexican consulate, and pretty soon the mezcal psalms from Mexico were coming out. And then, lo and behold, Tucson became the first city in the United States, city of gastronomy, UNESCO city of gastronomy. And agave became a very important part of our heritage. It was a food source, it was used in many, many ways, and it has been harvested into the Tucson area for 8,000 years. And you can still find these places where they were harvested, where the water was moved into the agave plants. Since we teamed up with the university, with the Sonora Desert Museum, with the Psalms, there's lectures, and the Agave Heritage Festival has been a very important part of what we're doing. Todd Hanley, my son-in-law, is now importing mezcal. The Agave Festival is really something he personally took forward. But we also have our signature events. Halloween is a big event, and these pictures are from Poco Fest. Poco Fest came about by David Slutz, the entertainment director, who is once a rock and roll star. He decided on our 20th anniversary of Club Congress to bring all the bands back, and everybody has played there, from Wanda Jackson to Bo Diddley to Nirvana to The Who. I mean, Club Congress has a history of everybody on their way up and on their way down because it's because of the size of the venue. And now people come here just because they want to. John Batiste is coming, Chris Jones, for the music jazz festival that will be coming in January. He's played at the Hotel Congress twice, and he gave us a shout out on national television when he was being interviewed along with Savannah Guthrie, who is also from Tucson. Back to slide showing the 10th Street the Tool Avenue and the hotel from the north side, because it looks like this now. Tucson, the city of Tucson abandoned 10th Street to build the new MLK complex and develop the property which has not been developed yet except for a parking lot, which used to be the home of the ice skating ring before Mark took it away from us and brought it down. So this is now the Congress Plaza. This picture is taken from the stage, and thanks to Renewal, some of the improvements you see out there, they helped us with. Renewal actually approached us and said, "You've never asked for anything. Please ask for something." And we thought, "Oh, gee, are we stupid?" And so as a result of that, we've been able to do fabulous improvements, including to 102-year-old plumbing, which has been a nightmare for us. The Hotel Congress is listed on the National Register of Historic Places, and it's been written up internationally. You'll see a Hotel Congress shirt almost anywhere in the world. I was sitting in a restaurant in London, and I went down for breakfast. There was another woman. We engaged in conversation. Asked her what she did. She said she books music acts. I said, "Oh, I have a venue." She says, "What's the name of the venue?" And I said, "It's the Hotel Congress, Club Congress." She said, "Let me make a call." And she called, and she says, "I'm calling Germany." She says, "He wants to know if you've air conditioned the club yet." So, we have been, we received for the plaza, the Tucson Pima Historical Commission gave us a wonderful award for creating a public-private space where you can enjoy the historic buildings around you. We have had 3 awards from the mayor's office for music and culture that we brought to the community. 2 governors, Napolitano, a Democrat, and Ducey, a Republican. How about that? They've awarded us for the contribution to the city of Tucson and the state of Arizona for culture and history. And about a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, we were invited to the state legislature, my wife and I, and we were taken on the floor of the House, and they read a proclamation honoring the Hotel Congress for its contribution to history and culture and the revitalization of downtown. And then we went across the courtyard to the Senate, where we couldn't go on the floor because only senators can go on the floor. But we were in the balcony, and the Senate applauded us, and that was felt pretty good after suffering for 36 years. This is Tiger, and Tiger is a bartender. We hired him. Well, he actually was hired in 1959. He's 88 years old. We changed the name of the tap room to Tiger's Tap Room 8 years ago on his 80th birthday. And so now it's Tiger's Tap Room, and you can see the neon sign. During COVID, he was so depressed because we were basically closed, we had food to go, and he called and said he was just so lonely he couldn't take it. So we hired him back in the interim as a greeter, and he stood out on Tool Avenue and waved to cars, and he was happy as a lark. So, we did celebrate our 100th anniversary. That's Shayna and me and Todd Hanley, who I'm not sure if he runs the hotel or it's just running him into the ground. He's those of you that know him know what a hard worker he is and what a great guy he is. And he's been operating both of our businesses. That's my daughter Rebecca and my 3 granddaughters. And to the right, we're celebrating the centennial, our 100th anniversary. And we're bearing a time capsule on that day. You can see the large barrel. The time capsule, we invited everybody in Tucson that had something to say about us or them to put it in the time capsule, buried it. So put it on your calendar. We're going to dig it up in 100 years. Only 98 left. And the work goes on. This is the project that's killing us presently, but it's going to be just absolutely fantastic. And that's the Century Room. And the Century Room is going to be a state-of-the-art jazz club. It'll be different than everything we're doing, and it will be the entrance will be on 5th, and we showed you a picture early on from 5th and Congress, because we were informed that the entrance off the lobby is the only area where the stage could be from a music standpoint, and a room within a room is being built in there to project music. During the day, when we don't have jazz booked, it'll be a mezcal and a local wine tasting room. And Arthur Vint, some of you may know Bob Vint, a local architect. His son Arthur became a nationally recognized drummer, went to the Manhattan School of Music, and works at the Vanguard Village in New York, the oldest jazz club in the United States. And Arthur will be coming back to Tucson teaching music and running that jazz club, so you will see the best acts in the world. We're killing ourselves trying to get open in January, as Chris knows, for the Jazz Festival. Thank you, Chris, because that's where the jazz musicians are all gonna do their rap. We're working hard at it, Chris, day and night. This is the Hotel Congress at night. That's the streetcar in the right-hand corner. And it's just sort of an overview of Congress Street. We're still holding down the street in the east end of Congress, the Rialto, and the depot to your right as you can't see it. So I want to thank you for the opportunity to talk about the Hotel Congress. And if you have any questions, I'll try to answer them. Yes, Ed?
I'll give you a microphone, Ed.
Oh.
Yeah, that's true.
Would you tell us about the ghosts that hang out there?
Well, that's very interesting, because I did have an opportunity to look at our emails this morning, and it wasn't from a ghost, but it's from a company that looks for paranormal. They do films, they do documentaries, and they want to schedule us. My feeling is, if you believe in ghosts, you will see them there. I don't, but I will tell you, the Tucson Fire Department wanted to do they were creating a video that they could look on the way to a fire and figure out where all the exits were, and as they were trying to create this program, they asked if they could do it at the Hotel Congress, and we of course allowed them to do it. They then took us to lunch and to express their gratitude, and the photographer said, "There's floating orbs in these photographs." And other people have seen, it's the same ghosts, there's even a picture of one. So if you believe in them, they're there. And if you're more like, skeptical, then they leave me alone.
So we have another question over here from Dave Gallagher.
Hey, I think that's awesome news about Arthur Vint running that deal. He is such an incredible performer, and you are lucky to have him.
We know it.
Yeah, cool. Tell me about the safe in the lobby. I have the identical safe at home, so I'm curious about the history of that.
Well, it was an original safe. I took it to have the locks picked by a locksmith, and he said there was nothing into it, and he immediately moved up into the foothills and bought an airplane, so I can't tell you much more. Bruce's Lock Shop, he's a good guy. I don't think he's still doing it.
I got a question over here with Pat. Last question, Pat, make it good.
What happened to the pennies in the floor?
Well, regretfully, and Mark asked me about that, my collection was lost, including my lead pennies and my Indian head pennies, but they're still there. They're just under a couple of layers. What happened was there was just no way we could maintain it. It just kept coming up. We had done it with tile and epoxy. There is a penny table in the lobby. It was too hard to strip up, so we paved over it, and we had tile to match the lobby tile made in California. And it's being installed as we sit here today. They'll seal it tomorrow. So come take a look and know you're walking on 200,000 pennies. Just believe beneath your feet.
I love Dr. Zeus. I don't know if anybody else feels the same way. I did not pick this book, but I think this is great, and I think this really kind of reflects all about Hotel Congress.
Dr. Seuss, You Are So Kind. So that's already been personalized by Richard. That'll find its way into our Make Way for Books libraries as we continue to support kids and their literacy. So we do have some birthdays. I passed on my birthday. I've just been too busy, and so I just decided, after we got bugged, maybe I should do it. So let me tell you a little bit about me. Today, my birthday was back in October the 29th. I joined the club in 1993. I had to step away in 2009 because of all my Rio Nuevo duties, and then step back in 2012 when things slowed down a little bit. My classification is real estate, commercial properties. I think I own Mark Urban Commercial Real Estate Services. I'm an SMU grad, and I got to tell you, I'm really honored to be your 100th president. So what don't you know about me? So here, check this out. My first grade report card, teacher said 2 things. Talks too much, does not play well with others. The hell's up with that? Why did I join? I just felt Rotary was up to a bigger game, and I just wanted to be a part of it. Why do I stay? Right there, all you guys. And what am I going to do in the future? I think I'm going to come to the realization that as a president, like anything I've ever done, probably my opportunities to be impactful are probably those years after I'm president rather than when I'm sitting up here. So that's my story. On with more important people.
How much?
How much?
How big's the check?
Oh, it's right there. It's right there. I'm always good for a big check, as you know, Bruce. Bruce is always willing to spend my money. I love him for that. I cannot wait until this time next year what's going to be happening. It's going to come back. It all comes back. So Matt Nance was born on November 22nd, joined our club in March of 2013. His classification is contractor remodeling. He's with Arizona Designs Kitchen and Baths. He's a graduate of Brigham University and Bradley University. And what's his plan for the future? He's looking forward to get back to regular attendance and finding more ways to participate in service projects. Matt? By the way, Bruce, if you're keeping score, he's already given me a check.
Yeah, my birthday's on Monday, and I was, it's a lot of pressure to know what to say up here in front of such an austere group of people. And but this morning, I found out some news. As Mark mentioned, I joined in Morton, Illinois, and my sponsor was Tom Quinn. I'd known Tom, he was a family friend forever. He used to take us to the Peoria Rivermen hockey games when we were little in his IROC Z28, which we thought was pretty cool, my brother and I. And then first time I went to Rotary was as a high school student, a guest student at the Morton Club, where I got to speak a little bit when I was a junior in high school. And then I went to work there in near the Morton area, and he asked me to join Rotary, and he was my sponsor. I found out today that he passed away. So I thought I would share a couple things Tom told me. One of the things, advice that I take to heart is sit at a different table every week. He said, people like him, they all sit at the same table and they don't want to get to know people. But he said, if you really want to get to know people and be a part of Rotary, sit at a different table every week. So I thought that was great advice. But more than that, Tom was a leader in the community. I'd see him at our pumpkin festival. Morton's the pumpkin capital of the world. And he was always talking to somebody he knew. And I asked him, I said, how do you know all these people? And he said, they're all in Rotary. So he was a great mentor. And so appreciate people like him and all of you. Everywhere I go, this is my third Rotary Club I've been in. And everyone's the same. Great people, and that's why, as Mark said, that's why I continue to be a member. And so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Matt, happy birthday. I think we always appreciate somebody that can share a fun story like that. We're sorry about your loss of your friend. Bruce Dunsey, November 24th, day to live in infamy. He joined our club in December of 2008, insurance and risk management, colonial life, Southeast Missouri State. So here's some cool stuff. He's got a degree in botany and horticulture from Southeast Missouri State University. Who would have thought? Why did he join us? For community service opportunities and for business connections. Why does he stay? Service above self, and he loves the personal connections. And what's he going to do in the future? He's going to get more involved in 22 as his schedule opens up a bunch. I don't know what that means. Bruce, come up and talk to us.
Thank you, Mark. I thought I said a bit, not a bunch, but no, I'm very happy to be up here today, and this is my kind of a milestone birthday. I'm not only a Medicare consultant, I'm now a Medicare beneficiary with this birthday. So I'm happy to be here. This group of people is the best group of people I've ever been associated with. And, you know, as Matt said, it's not only this group, but if all human beings, I think, had the opportunity to be surrounded on a daily basis by the kind of people that, you know, are in this room, as kind and generous and loving as this group is, that, you know, the world would be a better place. And that's why I'm in Rotary and why I stay. You know, I joined because I think a lot of us joined because we thought, oh, great business connection, you know. But that's not why we stay. And that comes after years, but it's, you know, why we're here is because of each other and what we do in the community and the connections we make. So that's very important. I owe you a check. I left the office today without it, but it is the truth. I will get you a check. It's the truth. Okay. I want to leave you with a quote that I heard on the other day. If you have Sirius XM in your car, you may know a station called Outlaw Country. It's one of my favorites. And there's a guy named Ray Wiley Hubbard. And Ray Wiley says, "The days I keep my gratitude higher than my expectations are good days." Thank you.
Bruce, thank you. So today's a fun day. We get an introduction of a new member. And doing that's going to be Tom Campbell. Tom joined us in October of 18. His classification is real estate, residential, and commercial. He's with Long Realty Company, graduate of San Jose State. He's going to be introducing new member, Melissa Ryder. Come on up.
Well, good afternoon. It's an honor and really a privilege to introduce Reverend Melissa Reinders to you as the newest member. She is the senior pastor at Catalina United Methodist Church and has been there since July. Getting to know Melissa, the subject came up about Rotary, and I was pleased, delighted, and thought what a fit it's going to be to have a person of reverence and inspiration come join the club. So I brought her over here for a visit, and she seemed to like you guys for some reason. You know, since it's been a long time since we've really had a member of the theological community as a member of the club, I thought it would be a good fit. I know that a few of us in the crowd especially might benefit from her enlightenment and her experience in the theological field. And not all of you, but some of you may want to get to know her better than others. Now, I'm not pointing any fingers here, but you know who you are. Not to, not at the risk of being repetitive, Melissa was brought up in the Prescott area. She graduated from Camp Verde High and attended and graduated from the University of Arizona with a degree in education. Aren't you glad you have another grad here in the family? Subsequently, she went on to get seminary, take her seminary at Claremont Theological School of Theology, and she graduated in 2005. She's married to Rob Reinders, and they have 2 kids, Colby and Zachary. She spends what little time she has helping out at her boys' school, and then doing crafts and hobbies with her family on the other days that she has free. Melissa is a great communicator. She's got a quick wit, and she is a good communicator, and she's an inspiration to our congregation. So that you have a few words.
Thank you. I have to say Tom is correct. I felt immediately welcome when I first came for my first lunch. I get a pulpit every Sunday for 15 plus minutes, so I will keep it brief. I know that's the expectation. But I look forward to serving with you and getting to know all of you better. And in the Methodist Church, we don't take confession, so you can just come talk to me instead of confessing your sins.
Tom, thank you for that introduction. Melissa, welcome to our club. We have a quick Rotary welcome for Melissa. Normally we take a photo, but I have no idea where a photographer is. But if we do find a photographer, could you take a picture of that back table there, the one that Gallagher and those other troublemakers are sitting at? I think is that what you're talking about, Matt? Yeah, so if everybody could check and make sure those folks aren't sitting together next week, or actually we're not meeting next week, so after the holidays, you know what I'm talking about. Paul Harris presentation. So past President Scott Bond's going to come up and talk to us about a Paul Harris presentation. He joined our club in September of 2001. His classification is finance, media company, Arizona Public Media. He's retired. He is a U of A grad, shocking. He was our club president in 08 and 09, and he's going to be making a Paul Harris presentation to both this hoodlum Drew and the amazing Jeannie. Sorry, Drew.
I couldn't have said it better. So today we come closer to a world of peace and understanding, a world free of polio, with these Paul Harris Fellow presentations. These 2 amazing Rotarians are already wearing the newest Paul Harris Fellow pin. Drew Vactor is receiving his Paul Harris Fellow +3. Plus, he's completed Paul Harris Fellows for 4 members of his family. Drew was born in Cleveland and was raised there until 1960, when his family moved to Tucson year-round. His business administration degree is from the University of Arizona. And like me during college, he was drawn to work in the media. Yes, Drew was a DJ, and he earned his first-class radio TV engineering license. This honored and ancient FCC designation of leadership is currently held by just a small number of still living persons. But the engineering experience and Drew's degree got him hired by RCA next, but just for a couple of years. Well, he is still a techie, president of 5 Star Web Design, and about 6 other companies, too small to mention here. In the 70s, Drew was regional manager for Levitt's Furniture. Is there anything I missed? The little restaurant. The tack room. The family proudly remembers the 19 consecutive 5-star awards, plus 5 diamond awards, the only restaurant in Western U.S. with both, and the Silver Plate Best Industry Award, all for fine dining. Drew recalls that his business endeavors were complemented by the wonderful weekly Rotary break, where he could share time and conversation with like-minded community leaders. This is his 36th year in this 100-year-old club, all with perfect attendance. Drew and Candy Vactor have been married for 52 years. Candy is an honorary member. I was going to say here, and he's just a regular member. Of course, their service to our community and the world throughout Rotary is really quite astounding. For instance, both have served on the Classics Car Show leadership team since its inception 15 years ago. And when Drew retired 21 years ago, he and Candy embarked on a life of global travel and visited Rotary clubs everywhere. When asked why he donates to Rotary International, he responds, "During our travels, we made up Rotary meetings around the world. We were very proud to be a part of all the good Rotary International does worldwide, making people's lives better. Most importantly, eliminating endemic polio from our planet." Drew wants to commend all of those who have donated so much time and effort to leading our club and our car show. Congratulations, Drew Vactor, on your Paul Harris Fellow. Jeannie Zita is receiving her Paul Harris Fellow +6. She grew up in St. Paul, Minnesota, where she and her husband, Pete Bellis, raised two wonderful kids. Alex is a professional automotive photographer in Minnesota, and Matt's an engineer in Iowa City. Jeannie seriously pursued a career in education after receiving degrees from Southwest State University and her master's in community education from St. Cloud State University, both in Minnesota. So Jeannie was serving as a community education director for the Eden Prairie Schools when she was invited to the Eden Prairie Morning Rotary Club to talk about literacy, adult literacy. Well, she then joined the club almost immediately, which led to involvement in many, many club service projects. She retired in 2010 and expanded her Rotary engagement to the district and international levels, including her district PR committee and attending several district friendship exchanges in other countries. She attended the RI convention in Seoul, South Korea, before serving as her club's president. And after her husband Pete started working in Tucson, Jeannie moved here too, yes. And that's just 4 years ago. And a few months later, she found a Rotary Club where she could make a difference. And she joined us in February 2019. It turned out to be beneficial for all concerned. In the short term that she has been here, she's applied her leadership skills and her strong work ethic to many of our vitally important projects, like the car show ticket sales, the auction, our 100th anniversary celebration, and the auction attached to that one. In addition, she's already immersed in District 5500 as she volunteers with Rotary Youth Exchange. Of course, she looks forward to serving us on our board of directors beginning in July. When asked why she supports Rotary International programs, she says, "While serving as club president in 2016-17, I joined the Paul Harris Society and committed online to donate $1,000 per year, knowing that the funds are all managed to meet the highest standards for charitable giving, and they make a real difference in addressing Rotary International's focus areas around the world." Congratulations, Jeannie, on your Paul Harris Fellow +6. It's our tradition to give gifts of little or no value. First we have for you, Jeannie, just a minute, let me reach for it. Let me tell you about it first. As a relative newcomer to Tucson, we want you to have the full opportunity to embrace the Arizona Wildcat spirit. So your gift is an autobiography of the legendary Lute Olson. But that's not all. U of A College of Education lapel pin, because they too are glad you're here. As for you, Drew, it will help advance your interest in American history and challenge you to read every book written about the Lewis and Clark expedition. So, yeah, he does. Please add this to your collection and let us know when you're ready for the next one. There's one other thing. You know how people used to collect souvenirs from the restaurants they love? Things like coasters and matchbooks and spoons. Well, we're not giving ours back. But Margie gave me this, and she said, see if you can get Rue to replenish it, because I've run out of matches. All right, let's hear it for our award winners today.
What a great job with the introductions. Jeannie, you've been such a godsend to our club. And you know, Drew, I've had a chance to know you before. I moved here in '86, and I think my first dinner at the Tack Room was in '82 or '83. My mom took me there because she wanted to show me the best and the finest of town, and so I've always enjoyed it. She said, Mark, you have to tuck in your shirt tail, wear a tie and a coat. That was a problem. But other than that, it was fine. So, as our centennial year, we're going to focus a little bit on history. Charlotte Harris, past president.
Excuse me, President Mark, I don't mean to interrupt, but actually I mean to interrupt.
Okay.
I think everybody's familiar with Inside Tucson. I mean, this is one hell of a publication, and when you're actually recognized in there, but our very own historian, Charlotte Harris, was one of the nominees for the 21 Spirit Awards for philanthropy for junior achievement. So maybe she could just make a comment about Junior League of Tucson. Well, I was close. So, but maybe she might be able to, mention how it was she got that prestigious nomination.
I love that spirit of philanthropy, and I'm not sure anything else I could say, Charlotte. I mean, he kind of jumped in the middle here, just ruined my train of thought. We know you're a past president. You know I love you. You're outstanding. You're actually our kind of moral compass when we get going a little bit goofy. So thank you. With a history moment, I will not call her Charlotte Harris.
I very kindly received that award because the league had purchased an elementary school on River Road a number of years ago. And like many nonprofit organizations, the membership has dropped and they're going to be remodeling the facility. And I raised about 70% of the money that they needed to do the remodeling. So. The Hotel Congress and the Rotary Club of Tucson have been downtown neighbors for 60 of the last 100 years. As Hotel Congress opened just 2 years before the Rotary Club of Tucson was established in downtown Tucson. It was the time that Tucson was growing, and why we were neighbors during those years and not regulars at the Hotel Congress is difficult to say, but possibly it was because there was not meeting space large enough to accommodate us, or maybe it was the 6 pieces of silver at every place setting. So let's take a look at the neighboring hotels in downtown Tucson during those close to 60 years that had an impact on our club. The first Rotary Club of Tucson meeting, an organizational meeting, was held on Monday, February 14th, 1921 at noon, with 25 charter members and 25 prospective members at what was known as Dickerman's Cafe on East Congress just off of Stone. It was known as Dickerman's Cafe as that was the name of the cafe's proprietor. Built in 1904 at 88 East Broadway, the Santa Rita Hotel was where the installation of our Rotary Club banquet was held on April 11th, 1921. Excerpts from the Star and Citizen reported, quote, the Tucson Rotary Club was presented with charter number 856 by the Phoenix Rotary Club at a Santa Rita Hotel banquet last night. At each table, telephone receivers were provided for everyone, and from San Diego, the district governor made a short congratulatory address, unquote. I think that was pretty innovative for 100 years ago to have those phones at the tables. Within a few months, membership grew beyond Dickerman's Cafe capacity, so the club moved to the Santa Rita Hotel at Scott and Broadway, where luncheon costs increased from 35 cents to 50 cents. The Santa Rita was known where the movie stars stayed when filming at Old Tucson. Some of them included Cary Grant, Clark Gable, and Gregory Peck. Many of us remember the Santa Rita before it was torn down in 2009. Meetings were held on Mondays at noon until 1929, when the members voted to change the meeting days to Wednesday. In 1931, the club settled down to a long residence of almost 43 years at the Pioneer Hotel, which had opened 2 years earlier at 100 North Stone and was designed by local architect and Rotarian Roy Place. When it opened, it was said to house the largest ballroom in the country, where our club met. Our last meeting at the Pioneer Hotel was September 25th, 1974. Just as the Hotel Congress experienced a devastating fire in 1934, those of you who lived in Tucson in December 1970 might remember the Pioneer Hotel fire that made national news. Tucson's tallest fire engine ladder could not reach the highest floors in the hotel. Tragically, 75 people lost their lives. Of interest, the fire did not seem to impact Rotary Club meetings as the ballroom was untouched, and a review of the Tucson-tarians from that period do not even mention the Pioneer Hotel fire. But due to the closing of the Pioneer Hotel, we then moved to the Ramada Inn at 777 West Cushing Street. Meals were $3, including tip, and free office space was provided in the hotel's mezzanine. While at the Ramada Inn, the Rotary National President visited our club, and some other speakers of note included Arizona U.S. Representative Mo Udall, County Board of Supervisor Conrad Joyner, Walter Sherrar, who commanded the first Apollo crew, and Governor Bruce Babbitt. In 1981, the year of our 60th anniversary, we moved from downtown Tucson to the Doubletree, where we met for 39 years. So as of this current Rotary year, we're downtown neighbors to the Hotel Congress again.
I gotta tell you, I just love those history lessons. I learn something every single time, and I don't know anybody that's better at that than Charlotte. Those aren't easy things to put together. She's got to go research them. It's just not easy. So we do have a raffle, and I'm gonna turn things over to Chris Dodge for a moment.
All right, we're gonna work quick today so we can get there. So Richard, pick the winning ticket. So the win, I have like $78 in my pocket. And if Richard pulls the King of Clubs, which you see still exists, you'll win an extra $2,100.
Is he gonna pull
So we win 681-962. 681-962. Bruce is a loser. Jim is a loser. Look at that! Bob won! Oh my gosh. All right. Here we go. It's all right. Now everybody else is your friend again, Richard, because it's the 6 of spades, except for Bob. Bob's not your friend. So, all right, congratulations. Get to it, Mark.
Thank you. By the way, these are half price. Interested in any of that? Okay, let's hop over real quick to the fishing fun. I thought this would just be fun. We're not going to showcase any fish that's been caught. I thought in the history of Thanksgiving that everybody wanted to see what a turkey fish looks like. This is also known as a devilfish, South Pacific turkey fish. It's got a whole bunch of different names, scorpion fish. 25 species of these guys that are like swimming around. I just thought with Thanksgiving you'd like to see what a turkey fish looks like. These are edible. They're very venomous. They live, they're kind of a problem in the reefs right now. So if you see one, kill it and eat it. Okay, Charlotte. I think Charlotte's got a message. Charlotte, where's Charlotte? Is Charlotte back? Where'd Charlotte go? There you go. Oh. You have a message that you wanted to share, I think, about the Zone Institute.
It goes.
I did a booth at the Zone Institute for 3 days last weekend at Ventana Canyon, and one of the things we had is we rented from Ralph Phillips a bicycle and a trainer for people to get on the bike and have their picture taken with a poster about Ride Dan Polio, and that is the RI president. And last year's president was there too, but I thought one picture was enough.
Charlotte, thank you. We got an announcement about the car show from car show chair and past president Jody Condon.
I'm going to cut this really short, but I want to tell you where we have landed. You all probably know that we had 35,000 tickets as our goal for this year's car show. Before the car show, we had sold 33,445 tickets, 96% of our goal. The day of show, we sold another 4,600 tickets, taking us to a total of 38,045 tickets. And in truth in advertising, I just want to say that 2 of our largest major ticket sellers brought in donors that are included in that because they got credit for each of those tickets. And so we are at 38,045. Take that, Bobby, and you gotta get to 40,000 next year. Just real quick, we had 93 members who sold 40, which was our goal for each member, up to 99 tickets. Keep going, keep going. We had 35 members who sold 100 to 249 tickets. We had another 24 members who sold 250 plus tickets. And as you can see, Mark Irvin and John Wong both sold more than 1,000 tickets. So congratulations to everybody. I hope that has a little bit of taste for what you're going to see on January 26th when we do the big reveal and we give away the money. So I'm going to hand this back over to you, Mark, to talk about our next topic.
So does that deserve a standing ovation to Joni? I mean, oh my goodness. But by the way, what you forgot to also mention is we doubled the ticket price. So the tickets went from $5 to $10. So that's a pretty big deal. One thing I want to just talk about real quickly before we get ready to adjourn. So the board met and just asked ourselves the question, do we support the car show going forward? Unanimously said, yes, we support it. The Rotary Club of Tucson Foundation board met last night, same discussion. There's going to be some information that's going to be coming back to the club relative to what we're going to do, who we're going to select, all those kinds of stuff. But right now, I'd just like to see a show of hands for everybody that feels strongly that we should continue with the car show. I'm not going to ask anybody for a nay because I'm not sure there would be one. Okay, so we do have an announcement from, I think, both Chris Dodge and Curtis Dawson about the bell ringing.
It's just me.
You?
Yeah.
There's no such thing as just you.
Just me. Yeah, really. So bell ringing day is it's Saturday, the 11th of December. You can sign up to be a bell ringer on the website right now. That's all you need to know. So go to TucsonRotary.com and sign up, or talk to Curtis Dawson when you see him here next. All right.
Excellent. Thank you. Bruce Jacobs, I think you've got a little announcement on the holiday mixer.
Yes, we are set for Tuesday the 14th. It's going to be a culinary dropout. Please note that the meeting time will not start until 6 o'clock, not 5:30. So, I mean, if you get there early, you can certainly get a drink at the main bar, but they have an event prior to, and they have their COVID cleaning protocol as far as to clean the room. So again, it's going to be starting at 6. Please, please, please sign up so we can try and get a count as early as possible for it. So, thank you.
Bruce, thanks for your efforts on that. That should be a really great party, culinary dropout. Okay, so we're running a little bit over. Let me just thank all the guests and everybody that's here personally to thank you for enjoying it. Hope you enjoyed the meeting. If anybody would like to know more, please stop at the back table. If you want to donate to the scholarship cups, those are on the table. If you've not gotten your Rotary pin, shame on you. You should see Dorina. She's got one for you. I want to say happy birthday to Matt, Bruce, and obviously yours truly. Don't forget, next week we are dark. Happy Thanksgiving. Now for a quick toast. To Tucson and its history, we are blessed with so many unique landmarks in our community. Here's to those who help preserve and showcase our treasures, like Hotel Congress.
Here, here.
We're adjourned.
I got a 2 o'clock headshot. Okay.